What's up, guys? Welcome to the first official episode of Lowyat Reboot.
Yeah.
The show on Lowyat TV where we talk about movies, TV, and basically whatever it is that we're watching
Pop
right
culture.
now. Yeah, pop culture stuff. And I'm Dash, and with me is my man right here, Leon.
What's up? What's up? How you guys doing?
So today, on this first episode, we are going to be talking about a local film, Malaysian film called Fly By Night, directed by Zahir Omar.
Yep.
And Zahir Omar is the guy who won the first ever BMW Shorties back in 2007.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but after that he sort of disappeared off the grid for a bit. Like he went into like commercial
stuff, right?
corporate
Yeah.
filmmaking and all that. And now he's back in the game and he's made his first feature film, Fly By Night.
咁我哋就咁等28生，
在我家就跟着我的 law。
boleh settle tapi you kena jumpa lah dengan guru besar Encik Fernand Sam Pakcik Choi Chong
好像轻了一点哦。你打开他这个，你怎么样？放下枪。Gentleman tak tipu tau. Aku tak tipu.
So, before we get into our overall thoughts, Fly By Night is basically a film about a family of taxi drivers by day, gangster thieves by night. And it's difficult to really explain the plot, but on a general sense, it's more about when the son decides to sort of go behind his father's back and not follow a plan and do his own job, his own side job, which usually this family of gangsters don't usually do. And then it lands him in hot soup and they try to get out of it and basically shit hits the fan as it goes. Yeah. So that's the basic premise of the movie. Would you say it's summed up pretty
summed up pretty well, and everything just escalates really fast in the movie, and I think with of course like enough time as well. Given enough time for everything to kind of grow out.
Yeah. So what are your overall thoughts on the movie, Leon?
I like it. Honestly, I think it really set the standard for a lot of local films.
Yeah, for sure. So like he mentioned the mixed language kind of thing. You mentioned the mixed language thing, and basically the movie is it centers around a Chinese family, but there's also like Malay characters. There's a mixture of Mandarin and Malay in the movie.
Yeah,
and
a bit of English.
Yeah, a little bit of English
Malaysian
as well,
English.
and it sort of encapsulates. Like besides like there's not that much there isn't any like Tamil or that many Indian characters, but for the most part it feels like a Malaysian movie as compared to like a movie about a specific race from a perspective of a specific race. And honestly, like it's like you said, the movie set the standard. It is
for me at least.
It maybe calling it the best Malaysian film ever made might be a bold statement, but it's
a pretty good one so far from what I've seen
it's
recently.
An excellent movie, and the thing is, like I mentioned in my written review, right? This is perhaps the most punk rock Malaysian movie.
Yeah, I would say so.
It's metal AF as they say, and it's crazy. It pushes the boundaries. It's about corrupt cops. It's about drugs. It's about gambling dens. It has all these elements. It has morally ambiguous characters it's not common where you see a Malaysian movie like this.
Yeah, and speaking of like characters, what do you think about the casting? Honestly, I think they did really well.
Yeah, the casting in the movie. So basically, just to run through, there are a lot of characters.
Yeah.
So the father of this gangster family is basically. His name is Tylo and he's played by Sunny Pang. He has a son named Silo, played by Fabian Lu. Then the father has a sort of best friend who's always with him through thick and thin, and that's played by Eric Chen. And then there's also the son's best friend, Jack Tan. And then there's this police officer.
Wait, is that the father? I thought that was the bigger brother.
Is that the bigger brother?
Yeah, he's the elder brother. So Tylo means big brother. Silo means small brother.
No, Oh, is that? Oh,
yeah,
right.
So it's actually a bigger brother.
Okay,
yeah,
so it's not a father-son thing. It's an elder brother.
Because they have the mom. That's the
younger brother
situation. The grandma.
Yeah,
that's
the age gap seems pretty
far, right? I think so. Like a decent.
Okay. So it's an elder
brother,
younger brother situation, and then there's also like Bron Polare plays this corrupt cop.
Yeah.
And he isn't corrupt. He's more of a cop that
morally
ambiguous.
Yeah,
His
I would say
moral
that.
He does whatever it takes to get the job
needs
done.
a little bit tweaking his moral compass for sure.
You know, he's willing to torture people and all this just to get like whatever information he wants and all that. And finally, like I would say the biggest, all their performances are excellent.
Yes. So who's like your favorite one?
My favorite, I was just about to come to that. My favorite is definitely Frederick Lee, who plays this mafia, like this sort of flamboyant.
Too.
Yeah,
He's
that
so
guy
good.
was
so good.
Excellent.
You can see he was like having fun with the characters. Really good. Yeah.
And I think one of the reasons why, like him in particular, but all the actors across the board get to really showcase their talent here is because this film it's grounded.
Yeah.
But like when I interviewed Zahir Omar, at that time you were behind the camera, he mentioned that one of his favorite directors, his biggest inspiration as far as filmmaking goes, is Quentin Tarantino.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie feels very much like a Tarantino kind of movie. It has that Tarantino vibe.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, because it's grounded. It has a sense of realism and grit to it.
Yeah.
But it's also very exaggerated. It has
Definitely.
elements of dark humor.
Yeah.
So like and
Malaysian dark humor.
yeah. And the sort of the tone of it allows these actors to really exaggerate their performance.
Definitely.
It can be very theatrical. And like this Frederick Lee guy, he's not a guy you will find quote unquote in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still grounded, and he exaggerates his performance. It's like sort of like a theatrical kind of thing where everything is out there, everything is flamboyant, his facial expressions and the way he like, you know, he's just note perfect throughout
really
the movie.
good.
Yeah,
Definitely really good. And it's just that little, you know, his mannerisms as well is just like just little bit of things like those pauses, you know, when he's like sipping his drink and then it's like waiting for it to like finish, and then only he comes and yeah, like he's a bit of an eccentric character.
Yeah,
you can tell.
Yes, that's the perfect word to use. He's a very eccentric character, and this is a very eccentric movie, essentially. And that I think from a directorial perspective, I think that is the film's biggest plus point.
For sure.
Is Zahir Omar's touch, because there is a lot of attention to detail in the movie.
Well, but my only gripe with the entire movie, honestly, was I feel like technically wise, the way it was shot, I think it could have been better, because I've noticed that a couple of the shots I think was a little bit out of focus. I don't know.
Okay.
For me at least, and it's not like it's a major point, like a minus point. It's just a little bit of like for me, I think like direction wise and the story, I think everything was rock solid. I think technically the way it was shot, I think could have been a little bit better, a bit more cleaner maybe.
Okay.
But certain shots I feel like needs a little bit more movement, especially the lock-off shots, wide shots. I like the set design. Everything was nice. I think just a little bit of movement, maybe like a slow pan in or pan out or something, just to kind of let us really dive into, you know, when their locked-off shots are in the house. Everything was nice set design. But I feel like the characters wasn't moving a lot and interacting with it a lot.
Yeah, perhaps the movie does need a little bit more movement, I guess. But the technical side of things in terms of camera work and all didn't bother me too much. Like I see where you're coming from, but I was okay with it. But because Zahir does a very, very, very good job in sort of creating these tight spaces, and there's a lot of attention to detail, because this isn't like a glamorous. The set design is excellent. Like you go into
it feels like you know, Malaysian style, like Chinese house. Yeah, it's old fashioned.
Yeah. It's very. There's a lot of so when I say attention to detail, right? Like everything in the movie is well thought of. It's a very like you feel the claustrophobic sort of tight space, and then the movie has like there's a TV in the background that is always on even when nobody's watching it, and then you have this small like sort of coffee table where our characters all sit and they eat Hokkien greasy Hokkien meat out of the, you know, out of the packets directly, and like even like there's the movie is directed in such a way, it's designed in such a way where you can sort of feel you can even smell it to a certain extent. Like it's like there's a stench to the movie, and it's not clean. It's a very dirty movie. It's a very brown movie. It's very grimy. It's not a glamorous mafia.
It's not like showing like the upper class, of like Malaysian, like I don't know if there's like an upper class Malaysian gangster thing. But so it's a bit more like grounded, lower class, I would say.
It's just very well directed, honestly, and it beyond just.
I think that really just sells it for me. Even though there are just like small technical stuff that I personally find a bit like could have been better, but definitely the story and the direction definitely carried the whole movie.
Even like the action set pieces were really well directed. They are very, very good motorcycle chase scene.
Oh yeah, that was pretty good.
And the music,
the score,
the musical score is fantastic, and again it has that
Westworld type
it's
feel,
a
like
western
cowboy, but like
a cowboy kind of thing. Again, it reminds me a little bit of Tarantino, like how it's a modern movie, but the chase sequences and a lot of where the tension starts to build, and there's a lot of movement, there's a lot of running.
Especially the theme music when they're all in the car, in the taxi, and then they're driving the theme music. I'm like, something's about to go down.
It feels very Johnny Cash. It feels very Wild Wild West. And it's really, the movie is really fast paced, and it keeps going and going and going. But it's also very stylish. It's very ridiculous at times. But and I mean ridiculous in it's a compliment because it's very like comedic sometimes. The action scenes, they are very thrilling action scenes. There's a shootout that takes place in sort of like a desert looking location where it just goes completely bonkers, and also like
south,
and you don't watch the scene and you don't feel. It's not the kind of shootout that breaks your heart or anything. It's the kind that you just watch with a smile on your face. It's a rocking good time, basically.
We thought that it was all part of the plan, and like no, it was not.
Just everything.
We were surprised.
Totally. And also like there's this fight scene that happens like somewhere in the middle of the movie in sort of like this underground illegal casino kind of thing, gambling den.
Oh, that was really well done. Honestly, I really like that part.
Superbly done, because they don't show you the whole thing. It is intercut between like a dialogue sequences and all that. So it cuts back and forth between that, and even that action scene, right? It's not realistic, it's exaggerated.
For sure.
And it's a good way. I mean that in a good way. Like it feels very like it's just very old school, exaggerated cowboy.
And it really gave me that nostalgic feeling, because like when I was like younger, you would think like how these like gangsters would look like or how they would behave like, and it really kind of brought me that nostalgic feeling for me. I don't know, but I really just felt that way. So I think they really did it well.
He manages to like work within the parameters, yet push the envelope and try, because this is really the benchmark for Malaysians.
I mean, for sure they did like bleep out some words, but I think directly what they were talking about. So because don't worry, like you won't miss out on much.
It's a really, 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 really well executed movie. But so do you have any negative gripes, like besides the technical? Because like I have something that I really, really want to talk about in terms of negatives.
Okay, no, honestly, besides the technical stuff, I think I really enjoyed this movie for sure.
So for me, that like my biggest issue with the movie, and honestly, this isn't like a major flaw or anything. Maybe it is a little bit, but I love the movie. I really do. But I think the movie is it's a little too short. Because if you look at, there's a reason why, if you look at the great gangster epics by Quentin Tarantino, by Martin Scorsese, or even like Francis Ford Coppola's The Godfather, it's always like 2.5 hours, 3 hours, sometimes even like 3 hours, 20 minutes, and all that.
Back in the day.
But the reason those movies have that runtime is because it has so many characters. It has so many interlocking stories, just like this movie. This movie has so many interlocking stories. It has so many characters. But I feel like you need a longer runtime to really explore the depths of these characters. Because I feel like the characters work because of the performances, not because of the layers of the character writing. Because I feel we don't spend enough time with the characters.
With all of them, for sure.
With all of them and all these interlocking stories for it to really be impactful when something big happens.
I do agree with you. Like certain characters, I feel like they didn't get enough time to kind of develop. And, the way, and they do tie up loose ends, but it's not in the most satisfying way.
Yeah, because like, for example, like, this isn't a spoiler, but like, there is a scene of, let's say, domestic violence, right? But if you look at, let's say, in The Godfather 2, where Michael Corleone slaps his wife Kay, that scene is such an impactful and heartbreaking scene, but only because we have previously seen them fiercely in love. We have seen Michael as a kind person who really loves the wife, and so when it reaches that point of where he slaps her, it's very impactful. But here we don't have that arc.
Yeah.
We see like certain specs. So I feel like this is a very condensed version, and because of the characters, the number of characters, and the amount of interlocking stories and everything, and how everything interweaves with each other, it could have had another half an hour at least.
Probably. I would like to know if there was anything like that was cut to like shorten it, to condense it.
I don't, like, that thought has crossed my mind, but I don't think so, because even like a last year's movie, 1-2 Jaga, that I really, really like, and even that movie was less than 1.5 hours. And this one is also about 1 hour 35 minutes and something. So I don't know why they're doing this. Are they trying to just cater to the Malaysian audience who they think,
1.5 hours a movie?
Yeah, like are very impatient, or whether they just want it to be very, very snappy and quick.
Yeah.
But I feel like, you should take your time. Like, what's the rush, especially when you have a solid idea.
Yeah.
You have a very, very good director. You have, you it's a movie that warrants a long run time. It's a movie that needs it. But at the end of the day, considering the biggest complaint that we have about the movie is that we want more.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So that already sums up, like, that it's a very, very good movie.
Yeah, for sure. After watching it, I immediately just like text my friends like, guys, it's coming out soon. You guys should really check it out.
Yeah, like seriously, man. This is a movie that you have to watch in cinemas. Like, support this movie, like, because it really, really deserves it. It's a superbly directed movie.
I wish they would do a prequel for Kamal.
Yeah,
a prequel would be good.
A prequel, or even a TV series
that'd be
spin-off, or anything like that. Honestly, this movie is great. Go check it out in cinemas. So that's Leon right there. I'm Dash. Until next time, this is Lowyat Reboot.